Imagine you're in a room with a crowd of people. Someone holds up a crisp $100 bill. They announce an auction, but with a twist. The highest bidder wins the $100, but the second highest bidder, they still have to pay and get nothing in return. At first, it seems easy. Someone offers $1, then another offers $2, easy profit. But soon, the top bids climb to $20, then $40, then $90. Now two people are trapped. One has bid $99, the other $100. And remember, the second highest bidder still has to pay, so the $99 bidder raises to $101, accepting a guaranteed loss just to minimize damage. The other counters with $102, back and forth. Neither wants to lose, but both already have. This is the dollar auction, a classic psychological trap, a demonstration of escalation of commitment driven by what's called the sunk cost fallacy. Our irrational tendency to continue investing in a losing endeavor simply because we've already invested something in it. At its core, the sunk cost fallacy is this. Once we've spent money, time, or effort on something, we feel pressure to justify that investment, even when logic tells us to walk away. Our emotions override our reason. We double down. We throw good money after bad. This isn't just theory, it's everywhere. In business, politics, relationships, even war. Take the story of long-term capital management, or LTCM. Founded by Nobel Prize-winning economists in the 1990s, LTCM used advanced mathematical models to make massive financial bets. At first, they were wildly successful, generating returns of over 40% per year. But in 1998, Russia defaulted on its debt. The models failed. The bets turned toxic. LTCM began hemorrhaging money. Now here's the kicker. Instead of cutting losses, they escalated. They doubled down on their positions, convinced the market would correct. After all, they were the smartest guys in the room. They couldn't be wrong. But the losses kept growing. LTCM had leveraged over $100 billion, and the entire global financial system was now at risk. Eventually, the U.S. Federal Reserve stepped in. 14 major banks bailed them out to prevent a collapse. The lesson? Intelligence and credentials are no safeguard against cognitive bias. Even the most rational minds can fall victim to sunk costs and overcommitment. Now let's travel to Norway. In the early 1990s, Statoil, the state-owned oil company, launched an ambitious project, the Mongstad oil refinery upgrade. The original budget? Around $700 million US. But as delays and cost overruns mounted, management kept pouring in more money. The rationale? They'd already spent too much to stop now. Years later, the final cost ballooned to $2.2 billion US, more than triple the original estimate. The Mongstad fiasco became infamous in Norway, nicknamed the moon landing that failed. Not because oil refining was difficult, but because executives refused to accept sunk losses and walk away. Instead, they escalated commitment until the only thing left was a monument to bad decisions. When a mistake is so epic it becomes a national metaphor, you know the sunk cost fallacy went nuclear. We like to believe this only happens to companies and governments, but it happens in everyday life too. We stay in toxic relationships because of all the time we've already spent. We keep watching a boring movie because we're already halfway through. We hold on to losing stocks, hoping they'll bounce back, just because we can't stomach taking the loss. The deeper we go, the harder it is to climb out. We build mental prisons made of our own past decisions. But here's the truth. Past costs are irrelevant. Money spent is gone. Time spent is gone. What matters is what we do next. Escalation of commitment feels rational in the moment, but it's the opposite. It's fear disguised as strategy. The most powerful decision you can make in business, in life, in war, is knowing when to cut your losses and walk away. Because sometimes the most courageous move is quitting.